This is the svizeneko60, a one-of-one custom keyboard manufactured using the open source files for the Bakeneko 60 by Katano. Let's get into the build process. But before that, if you do enjoy this video and would like to see more of this going forward, hitting the subscribe button and turning on notifications is much appreciated. First off, let's start with the case for this Bakeneko build. This is made out of 6061 aluminum, CNC'd, anodized in black, and sandblasted. I'm a huge fan of this case design, and the Bakeneko is based off the Singa unicorn, so it's just really clean and satisfactory. I do want to thank PCBWay, which is one of the biggest prototyping services, for providing me with this absolute beauty. Looking at the interior, there are some minor imperfections and blemishes that luckily aren't visible when assembled. It's almost as if during the CNC process there was some small denting, or maybe something that happened after. Really not sure, but I did provide this feedback to them. As for the holes here, these are for the daughter board, and I'll get more into that later in the video, as well as the USB-C cutout that's nicely centered. The bottom of this board is by far my favorite part, and you can see why. It features my logo nicely engraved in the center as well. Although I do wish that I made it slightly deeper, but that's not a manufacturing error, that's something on my end. We do have some other imperfections here that don't bother me too much since they're in areas that aren't visible, but it is worth mentioning. Overall, I'm very pleased with how this case turned out. It's simple, but still very pleasing with the perfect bezels and a really nice typing angle for me. The finish is a little rougher, but I made a mistake on that, which I will cover later. Next up is the daughter board, as the PCB does have some give to it. This one specifically I'm using is the open source unified C3 daughter board, along with a JST cable connection used on many other boards. To mount the PCB assembly, we do also need an O-ring gasket. This is screwless and uses friction to hold the PCB in the case, giving that bounce that many enthusiasts love. This was my first time using an O-ring gasket mount board, also known as a gummy O-ring, and it was really cool to see in action. Although I did have to play around with it a little before understanding how to properly fit it without issues. The PCB here can also be made via PCBWay, and it was soldered by my friend Chu, as I've been really busy lately. These are lubed and filmed Cherry MX Blacks, modding done by Chu as well, with switches provided by Dane Keebs. I also did spring swap these with 65 gram Sprit slow springs. They aren't as smooth as JWK linears, but they have a classy sound signature, and I can see why so many higher end builds use MX Blacks on an aluminum plate. It really doesn't disappoint. I highly recommend picking these up but swapping these stock cherry springs, as they are really crunchy. To top it off, I threw on ePBT Black Japanese, as it uses neutral colors and I do enjoy the way it looks on a black case. I did later on end up using some shelf liner, which did reduce flex slightly, but due to the lack of an internal weight, this board does sound a bit hollow. Let's take a listen to how the svizeneko60 sounds. Not bad at all. After trying this keyboard out for a while, I can see why so many love the combo of Hyperglide blacks on alu. Even that little scratch that the switches have are so satisfying. They create a sound that I haven't experienced on any of my boards yet. I'd say my primary complaint of the case is not actually the little blemishes, but more so the hollowness, but to be fair, that is on most aluminum cases like the Tofu or even the Canon Keys version of the Bakeneko. One fix to this I'll try out soon is adding some small weights under the case in place of case foam. And the surface of the case is a little rougher like I said previously, but actually less visible in real life than on camera. But let me explain why. In order to get one of these made for yourself, it actually isn't too difficult since most of it is on GitHub with the open source files, and Katano's server is very helpful with answering questions. Heading over to the GitHub first with all the files, we can see the things needed, and please do read the documentation if you would like to do this for yourself. There are some important things in the GitHub which I will not cover. In the case of the case, pun intended, all I had to do was upload the .step case file that was modified with my logo to PCBWay's CNC service. Here's the first issue I made. You should also upload the proper PDF document containing the specs for the daughter board screw threading, and also a document with the surface finish expectations. I didn't do this, so I had to buy some self-tapping screws to get the daughter board screwed in there. After that, you're good to go. You have a variety of options to choose from with the material and such. As for the PCB, you can also get this made here. You will need to upload the PCB drawings and select your desired settings, and also upload the BOM, or Bill of Materials, which the Katano files also provide. One of the coolest features of PCBWay is that they will solder those components like the controller, JST connection, and those types of parts on the PCB for you if requested. Now let's get back to the svizeneko60. The typing experience isn't insanely flexible like my Jelly Epoch, but it's pretty nice regardless. The Bakeneko truly is a gem considering how simple it can be to get your own made and the price point it can come in. I do for sure want to try more boards in the future using this mounting style as I enjoy it heavily, and I will 100% be trying out other plates and switches and such. I always think that a centered USB port is more attractive, especially on a 60% board with this minimal look. That's all for this board. At the time of making this video, I'm considering getting it Cerakoted in a pink or purple color, so it has some more pop to it, and if you would like to see that, please let me know in the comments. Once again, a huge thanks to PCBWay for making this video possible. That about sums it up. If you did enjoy, please consider dropping a like and hitting the subscribe button. Feel free to join my Discord to interact with me, and follow my socials for more. Peace.